can't help but stress the theme of freedom as such an important factor in our overall spiritual process, spiritual practice, our applied therapeutics to free ourselves from our social and emotional, mental and physical constraints and so on, and to open up a sense of being free of these difficulties in ourselves, noting also that we really are always faced, by and large, with those circumstances coming at us from the everyday life or from our inner pool of what we call false selves that are sending our way what we call suggestions about doing this or that, which are usually based in future-based ideas that really have no factual basis in our everyday life existence, but are treated as though they're facts. So these suggestions either come from outside or from inside, but nevertheless they are reflections of our being subject 100% of the time to these suggestions that make their way into our consciousness. How we respond to them is going to be the determinant of how free we are able to become for ourselves. As we move along in the practice that I'm sharing with you, that can be done by imagery as a fundamental way of freeing ourselves. Yes, the suggestions will come, but we're not going to be affected by them as we had been in the past. And they will essentially, as we move along, roll off our backs like water off a duck's back, and they will not have the effect of influencing us and keeping us stuck in the same rut of behavioral characteristics that have created for ourselves the trouble that we face. Because whatever we've got to face physically and emotionally and mentally are going to be reflected in our physical status. And the body will find itself also responding, and as it does so, it's going to lose its energy and its power, and as consequent to that, become eroded, old, decayed, and so on. And the overall situation that is facing us then is breakdown. We want to seek to reverse that, and we're able to reverse it. And when we do reverse it, we do the opposite of breakdown, and we're now finding ourselves more composed, more organized, more complex, and with an increase in our energy levels, and the vitality of the body is enhanced. So we're actually in charge of our own life force, and by being involved in our life force in this active way, we're really increasing the possibilities for longevity in ourselves in a way that brings us happiness and contentment and peace. And one of the important factors that's involved in why we do these exercises and how they influence us in a beneficial way is the function of faith and hope. Offering this way of finding your access to your own freedom gives us the understanding that there's a way out of the habitual, repetitive, reflexive responses that are curbing and providing constraints and restraints to our unfoldment and expansiveness of our life. To know that there's a way out, we call faith. That we have the means that I'm providing you here, for example, by using the imagery process as a major form of finding our way out of the difficulty that confronts us, we call hope. So the knowing that there's a way out is faith. The means to this way out is really a function of hope. And so we have the capacity for faith and hope in ourselves. And that's that's often lacking, I find, in people's approach to life, that they don't have faith in one themselves, but tend to cede or give up this notion of faith, this feeling of faith, and give it to others. And by surrendering their faith and hope to others and seeing others as offering the way out, or the means for the way out, or that there is a way out, is to deprive oneself of this very powerful force, this inner light, this inner fire. Faith is that fire, that generative life force, and hope is that inner light that shows us that there is like a rainbow, which is the symbol of hope. That there's a rainbow within us that we can discover at the end of it this great reward for ourselves, which has been noted in legend as the pot of gold, which is the pot of transformation, self-transformation. So instead of giving it up to others, we can start by trying to find it in ourselves. What I provided for everybody is a means to find the way, the knowledge that there's a way out, and the means for this. So I'm giving the source for freedom, and in my work, in my system, I've devised and I've shared 27 different ways of finding the path, 27 different paths to this freedom that are available for anyone's use at any time, and you can take it with you anywhere. You could be at the beach, you can be on a train, you could be walking down the street, you could be at a party. It doesn't matter. Whatever the situation is that confronts you in that instant, do it right then. You can use it, and use it as the prompt, as the stimulus, whatever it is that you're butting your head up against, the difficulty that you experience. Let it come, and use it then as the means to make the change. You're finding your own power that way, and that's called the power of life. We call it the power for freedom, the power as freedom, the power of freedom, power as freedom.